Be aware of that, please. And I'll go into slideshow. Okay, welcome everyone to today's session. Our thanks to the Early in Career community led by Stephanie Fersley and for Karim Tabaja from the Early Career community who's going to be moderating. And certainly we are honored by our panelists, and you're going to hear from them and be enlightened by their experience and their insights. This is the agenda for today. Stephanie is going to do some welcoming remarks. I'll give a brief update on LebNet, and then we'll jump right into the panel discussion. With no further ado, I'll turn it over to you, Stephanie.
Thank you, Janine. Hi, everyone. Welcome to this webinar. I'm going to give a brief overview of our early in career community at LebNet. So as Janine mentioned, I am the lead of it, and this is the rest of our team. We do a lot of initiatives throughout the years. Some highlights are the soft landing program, which I'm going to talk about in the next slide really quick, which is kind of a scholarship program for students who are interested to come do their graduate studies in the US or Canada. We also do mentorship. We provide mentorship opportunities for AUB students and as well for the Tech Fellows program. That is also another program through LebNet. We also try to engage as much as we can with Lebanese student clubs from North American universities. We organize and lead sessions for the same Tech Fellows program, and we also put together networking events and webinars like this one today. And really quick about the soft landing program, Janine. Yes, thank you. Just really quick, the soft landing program for this year, 2024, is open. We are accepting applications eligible candidates are senior Lebanese engineering students from various universities in Lebanon, and the application link is at the bottom, and you get paired with a LebNet mentor for guidance, and it's essentially a $1,000 stipend to kickstart or help your travels or the first move for your graduate studies in the US or Canada. And this is for, like I said, engineering students who are pursuing tech graduate schools. So, thank you. With that, I'll hand it over to Janine for an overview about LebNet.
All right. Thank you so much, Stephanie. First of all, I wanted to let you know that LebNet turns 25 this year, and it is amazing to see with how much we've done in the last 25 years. It started with a handful of people in the Bay Area, in San Francisco, who realized that there are a lot of Lebanese in technology. And those 5 people started this snowballing effect and have created this kind of impact. And so with now 2,500 plus members, we're close to over 3,000. I can just imagine the snowballing effect that's going to take place in the next 25 years. So as we say in Lebanese, عقبال المية for LebNet. And I'm really excited to do the next 25 years with all of you. What have we been doing in 2024? It's like really continued growth. We have communities in 13 regional areas in North America, 4 of them in Canada, and the rest in the US in major cities. We are trying to expand. There are a lot of people who call me and say we'd like to start communities in the Midwest, in Florida, in Austin, Houston, and Dallas. There is a nucleus of people in Texas, but it hasn't quite taken off. But so there is definitely growth in the communities. We also have specialty communities, women in tech and early in career, who are also doing amazing things, as Stephanie just described for the early in career community. I will talk about some of these programs. I know time is short here. Stephanie mentioned, please go on mute if you're not speaking. And so continue to admit people. This is awesome. Thank you. We have 46 participants so far. Stephanie talked about the soft landing program. I want to talk a little bit about the fellowship program, just to tell you the power of this organization and its volunteer staff. The fellowship started or what we call now the Tech Fellows program. It started last year with Aya Muallim, who's a PhD student at Stanford University. She wanted to offer courses that supplement university courses, give all the soft skills and exposure to young ladies from Lebanon who were attending universities in Lebanon. And last year it was focused on AUB, LAU, and the Lebanese University. She focused on first generation low income and picked 25 ladies last year. 25 ladies graduated from the program. And basically it's to equip them to succeed in a career in technology post-graduation. This year, this program was open to 150 applicants. It really opened up to all universities in Lebanon. Sorry, oops, please go on mute. We admitted 100 students, and we're hoping to graduate about 100 students this year. So the growth of these programs is amazing. It's reaching people in Lebanon. It's reaching people of Lebanese descent in North America as well. The mentorship program, I'll talk a little bit about this one. It's a Women in Tech initiative. It started as offering mentorship to women in technology who are early to mid-career. With the idea, it started by someone reaching out to me and saying, I just landed in the US, I'm in research, I'd like to pivot to another, into industry, how do I do it? And so we thought, what a great opportunity, let's offer a mentorship program to assist early to mid-career ladies, especially some of them landing fresh in North America trying to find their career path. So these are the amazing programs being put together, and there is a lot more, but I'm just going to touch on these two. Thank you, LebNet Early in Career, for being really sponsoring a lot of the anchor programs for LebNet. These are the events happening in the next few weeks. Please join one of them. They haven't been, this one launched on social media today, and then the other two are going to be launching in the next few days. Book your spot at one of these events and join us, please. They promise to be amazing. Why do you want to be a LebNet member? If you want to connect with other Lebanese tech professionals in North America, this is the place for you. If you want to grow on a personal and professional level, it's the place for you. And certainly, if you want to give back, it's the place for you. And this is honestly what's near and dear to my heart, is create a community of givers who are not in it only to grow on a personal level, but also to afford opportunities for all of us in our community of Lebanese in technology here in North America as well as in Lebanon. And so check us out at lebnet.us. And with that, I'm going to turn it back to Karim to kick off our esteemed panelists with this great topic of today, shaping tomorrow with the impact of Gen AI on future work and innovation.
Thank you very much, Janine, and thank you, Stephanie, for the intros. Also, welcome, everyone. My name is Karim Tabaja. I currently lead strategic projects at City Football Group. We're the largest owner of football teams around the world, including Man City, Manchester City, where I am right now. And some of the projects that I evaluate, that I work on today, involve are at the intersection of sports and artificial intelligence, which is why this topic is really important to me personally. I want to start with a warm welcome to today's webinar, where we'll be diving into the transformative potential of generative AI in our professional lives. As a member of the LebNet Early in Career Committee, I believe it's crucial for us to look ahead and consider the profound changes AI is poised to bring to our work, to our industries, and to our daily lives. Today, we find ourselves at the cusp of a new era. I think a lot of us are feeling this already. It's an era where the lines between human creativity and artificial intelligence are not just blurring, but intertwining to create a tapestry of unprecedented possibilities and challenges. And our guests, our panelists today, will help us think through these challenges by sharing their experiences. So as we navigate this landscape, it's essential for us to understand not just the mechanics of generative AI, so how it works, but also what it means for us on a professional career, from a professional perspective. What does it mean for our careers, for our society, and more broadly, ethics within our lives. I'll start with the very brief introduction of our guests. Our distinguished panel today brings together a remarkable blend of expertise, vision, and innovation from the forefront of the AI revolution, at least we believe. We have Farah Akoum, who's a product leader in the retail industry. We know that she's using generative AI or AI more broadly to enable search and greater personalization of customers' digital shopping experiences. We also have Alexandra Assouad, who's the CEO and co-founder of Mind Easy, where she's redefining mental health support through AI. Also, we have two gentlemen. First, Alaa Khaddaj, who's a researcher at MIT focusing on AI, and he's also a VC fellow at E14. And then lastly, we have Ryaan Sayegh as our fourth panelist. He's the co-founder and CTO of Hollo AI, where he's trying to help people create their own personalized AI twins. In today's session, we'll examine how generative AI has evolved and its impact across various sectors. We will try to highlight opportunities and challenges for young professionals. We'll tackle ethical considerations, as I mentioned. We'll talk about the role of AI in entrepreneurship. We'll talk about global versus local implications, etc. Our aim is to offer insights into AI's future potential while addressing some misconceptions we may have. And now to kick us off, I'd like to ask our panelists to share more color about their journey to date and their relationship with AI. Maybe starting with Alaa. Alaa, I'd love to start with you with just a brief intro of your journey with AI and how just your journey with AI and a bit more color around your background, your experience to date.
First of all, thank you for organizing this such a great opportunity. For me, the journey started, I would say, when I first joined college around 2016. And back in the days, I first joined AUB and was interested in doing research. So I joined one professor called Hazem Haj in research in natural language processing for about 2 years. After that, I came to MIT for an internship. I worked with Professor Fadl Adib, and the research was about machine learning, AI, and wireless sensing. Following that, went back to Lebanon, did some 1-year research on ML plus databases. Came back for graduate studies here, PhD, and I've been working since then on machine learning by itself and reliability. How can we deploy it safely into the real world? And recently, I've been working with E14 Fund as a VC fellow and been investing in companies with some deep tech and AI specialty in them. So that's been my journey.
Thank you, Alaa. And Alaa, maybe just double clicking on one point, could you tell us about your work around the Slack channel that you started for people of Lebanese descent in AI?
Yeah, for sure. So I would say maybe 1 or 2 years ago, me and another guy called Hadi Salman, great guy at OpenAI now, we were seeing a lot of resources about AI, a lot of hype. And many folks wanted to know more, but sometimes knowing where to look is a bit of a challenge, or knowing who to talk to. So we're okay, let's start some Slack channel, with very little barrier to entry, and join Lebanese folks working in AI. And I'll be posting in a bit a Zoom, a link for you guys if you are interested in joining. But basically over there, we shared news about the latest trends. We shared some articles, we shared some job opportunities, and we also make it accessible for folks to reach out to each other, reach out to us if they ever wanted to talk or discuss something.
Sounds great. Thank you very much for that, Alaa. Alexandra, maybe I would love to know more about your story and your journey with AI, please.
Totally, and it's so great to be connecting with like-minded people. I was born and raised in Lebanon, moved to Toronto, Canada at the age of 17 to study mathematics and finance. 6 months after moving into Canada, I developed and launched my first startup, which was called Chirpy. It was kind of a smart social media phone book that would allow you to share instantly contact information to people that you are meeting and add valuable data points to those connections. Ended up selling the company in late 2019, joined a venture capital fund focused on healthcare. I was getting a lot of deal flow on mental health, specifically peak COVID. My roommate at the time was doing her PhD in multicultural psychotherapy, and one of my best friends was doing her master's in cognitive science and computer science. And we decided to merge our very complementary skill sets to start building our company. We started it 4 years ago. Fast forward to today, we've been working with Fortune 500 companies to help them manage the well-being of their employees. Our platform really focuses on cultural competence, and it leverages AI to be able to provide culturally competent mental health solutions at a very scalable level.
Thank you so much, Alexandra. Moving to Farah, could you please tell us about your journey with AI?
Hi, everyone. It's a pleasure to be with all of you. I'm also raised in Lebanon. I left Lebanon at 18 to France. I started engineering there. And then on the 4th years, I was one of the political situation in Lebanon happened. And I was like, I don't want to be, I do believe in technology, creating better societies, better transparency, less corruption. So I moved to Switzerland, and the goal was there to get deeper into security of information, work for the United Nations, and fast forward, moved then to the US. At the US, I started at eBay. So the challenge for the company like eBay was, a website is global, but when they were going to new markets, scaling the operation was so hard. So this is when basically I started first using AI, machine translation, so that if any buyer around the world have a question, they can still have their problem answered too. Then we went to self-service help. When we went to China, there was a spike in the fraudulent account. So this is where also we started applying AI to reduce fraudulent account. And then the first wave of conversational I started with Alexa and Google Assistant. So I joined the team to create a shopping assistant for people on Google Assistant and Messenger. Now, obviously, the technology wasn't as good as large language model now. So then I moved to Zillow. I helped them establish their natural language platform with Amazon. And Zillow is basically, for those who don't know, a real estate website. And you can understand when you're trying to buy a home, there's a lot of documents and chat with multiple people. And the whole goal was I'm sorry.
You have to mute.
So then I basically work more on the search experience as a head of product for all of the search experience for the real estate marketplace. And now I joined Nursham because I'm Lebanese. I love fashion as well. So I'm looking forward to using generative AI and look at that from a fashion perspective and how we can basically improve styling for people. So that's kind of my journey.
Thank you very much, Farah. That's really exciting. And maybe last but not least, Ryaan, what about your journey?
Right. First, it's a pleasure being here. It's my first LebNet panel. And thank you guys for having me. I moved to Los Angeles from Lebanon at 18. And I went on to double major in computer science with a focus on math and economics, and a minor in philosophy, which is irrelevant, let's say. And my first project with software, I got a work to hire RFP with the city of San Francisco to create a software to kind of manage their traffic lights. I did it with a team in Lebanon, which is now my current team. And we created software for emergency vehicles to kind of override the traffic light patterns from their phones in cases of emergencies, etc. It included other stuff like counting cars, counting bicycles, and that was almost a 2-year project. It's still ongoing. And more recently, last year, I co-founded Hollo AI, which is a digital twinning company. So a clone of your voice and a clone of whatever your knowledge is, and with a touch of your style, in simple terms. And you'll be basically a chatbot where people can interact with you, and you speak 30 languages. Hollo is still not on the market. We're hopefully set to launch next month. And yeah, it's been exciting. You know, I'm more focused on digital identity and creating a twin of you, basically. You can use to generate content, or you can use to front-face clients. And that's kind of my journey with me and obviously my team in Lebanon.
That's really exciting. Thank you all for sharing your backgrounds with us. Oh, people want the preview of Hollo, Ryaan, so maybe you can provide that later on.
Right.
Alaa, maybe starting with you, one of the first questions I have, I mean, when I was preparing for this panel, I was asking myself, okay, how do I go about structuring this? What should I ask you guys? And I just went back in time, took a step back, and realized that around a year and a half ago, ChatGPT ChatGPT was at the center of everything most people knew when it came to generative AI. That's what everyone was talking about. That's what everyone was trying to play with, I guess. And since then, a lot of things have happened. It's been 18 months, if not more now. In your opinion, since then, what have been some other applications that have impressed you? And what new tools are you anticipating in the near future?
Great question. Yeah, it's been 18 months, but definitely feels like yesterday. So AI has been great for so many years now. Like between 2014 to 2020, we've had, for example, AlphaZero, a model that beat the world champion in chess. We had OpenAI's Team 5, which won like the Dota 2 World Championship game. So there's been a lot of accomplishments. The reason why ChatGPT has centered like AI in the people's mind was its huge access. People now, with a simple click of a button, can go and interact with a very powerful AI-powered chatbot. So since then, like I would say some of the very interesting tools that have been going out were like the recent DALL-E 3 model from OpenAI or like the recent Midjourney models. So these are tools where you can provide a very simple prompt to generate some images. And the generated images are very high quality. And like there's endless applications to this technology. For example, I've seen startups trying to use these models to redefine graphic design or architecture or many other applications. Another very great tool was the Sora model, where you can generate videos, very high quality, also with prompt. And that is like now redefining the movie industry. When it comes to the future, I feel like the main areas where AI would be like having a lot of success would be protein design in healthcare and robotics. For like the protein design, we're already seeing some early signs from Google DeepMind's model, for example, Genome, and NVIDIA's other model called BioNeMo. And basically, they allow you to design proteins with very specific functionalities just using AI. And that's at a rate much faster than current researchers can do. And the application of this technology could be huge, especially in the healthcare sector, where you can now iterate much faster on finding drugs to diseases and hopefully cure more diseases fast. On the robotics end, the market is booming right now. A lot of startups getting huge amounts of money on that end, and they're trying to bring robotics to human level intelligence and create humanoids soon enough. And since like there's a lot of talent and interest in that space, I'm hoping like soon enough we'll be able to see a lot more tools coming out of it.
That's really exciting. Thanks for sharing these details. I mean, I remember being just mind blown when seeing what Sora could do. Maybe shifting gears and talking about AI and our careers, I'd like to address Farah and Alexandra. Ladies, what opportunities do you think AI presents for young professionals across different industries? I know both of you are. One of you is in the healthcare space, the other is in the retail space. How can young professionals prepare themselves and keep their skills up to date to take advantage of these opportunities, in your opinion? And maybe we can start with Farah.
Thanks, Karim. So yeah, this is an exciting technology. I mean, I think we're all here because we know that we are in a big transition period of time, and it's really changing every aspect of the way we do our jobs to a point where Sam Altman, the OpenAI CEO, he said, I'm expecting to see companies with only one person CEO and the rest is done by machines. So that's the scale of the impact we're seeing today. So of course, many of you are doing these free courses online by Amazon and Microsoft, and maybe the more technical one on deep learning AI. Joining Alaa Slack is already a hit for the day today, and all of these podcasts. I may be able to share 2 tips, I hope, with the people. For those of you who are looking for a job, try prompting ChatGPT Copilot from Microsoft, which is like the free version, but on GPT-4 or Claude or Google, by saying, hey, this is my resume, this is the job I'm trying to apply for, and get a custom letter of recommendation, and then you can tweet it. You can also get feedback about your resume. If you have not done so, you can have some questions you can get in the interview, and get feedback doing a mock interview. Like, this is my answer to this question, how can I tweak it? So that's first. And once you land the job, I hope you try to do some of your tasks by prompting these bots. And as an example from the fashion today, it takes 6 weeks usually for a marketer to put together a trend reports about fashion and the product that are shoppable. We're today using generative AI, basically, where we could do it in a few hours. An example, let's say there's an Oscar event yesterday. You can prompt any of these new technology to say, look at all of these different fashion websites, bring the best and match it to your merchandise, and create not only quickly content, but also shoppable content. So you can, this is only one example, end-to-end, of how you can re-engineer some of these processes. The sky is the limit. And we're Lebanese, we're creative, right?
No, exactly. I mean, when it comes to the job interview bit, I remember my brother was applying for a job, and that's something he did. He was asking ChatGPT to ask him questions, and he ended up getting the job. I don't know if it's because of him or because of ChatGPT, or both. Alexandra, would love to hear your thoughts on that.
Yeah, absolutely. I'll come from more of a healthcare lens. And I'll start off with one of the biggest, not really misconception, but kind of feeling that I'm seeing in this space is that a lot of people are really underestimating the rate of acceleration of improvement of AI and the capabilities that it will have in the next. But when it comes to healthcare, when it comes to healthcare, it's a bit different, specifically because it's extremely outdated. You're talking about, doctors and physicians that aren't really accepting of change, aren't really wanting to integrate with different solutions. But when I think about healthcare and the intersection of AI, it's really augmenting the physician's capability, being able to digitize and seamlessly be able to do all of the administration tasks that they would usually have to do, like note-taking, monitoring patients, and being able to automate a lot of those tasks. I think human intervention is still going to be a big part of healthcare for the next decade at least. And yeah, I think definitely keep the entrepreneurial spirit if you want to live through the AI generation. Like Farah mentioned, I think a lot of companies are going to emerge and you won't need that much staff under you.
No, I mean, 100% agreed. We will touch upon entrepreneurship in a tiny bit. Thanks, Alexandra. Thanks, Farah. Wanted to touch upon one aspect a lot of people are talking about when it comes to just AI these days and its impact on society and ethics. Farah, maybe going back to you, given your experience and insights, how do you see AI impacting society at large, and what ethical considerations should we be mindful of in our work with AI?
Yeah, this is a great question. And I closely follow the subject of ethical AI because, as product manager, this is a key topic of how much responsible when we're shipping product? What are the guidance we should be putting as a guardrail, right? To create product that actually benefits society without the, other non-intended effect. So what I'd like the team here to kind of like think about is that there are three major things when you're building your product to make it simple to think about. The first one is really data and privacy. The second one is bias, and the third one is copyright and misinformation. So as product managers, when we are talking about training models and interacting with user and shipping personalized experiences that delight users, we also need to be very crisp with the users on when we're collecting their information, what do we know about them, get their consent, and how their information is being used in our models. The second one about bias, it's really bias, like it's usually not intended, but again, as we think about application in healthcare, for instance, or in any other sector, try to think about the data and how it's really, maybe there's more people related to an age group or related to a race group, and how would that impact the way the model is behaving. You probably have seen in the news how Google was pretty much slashed on once they launched their new Gemini because of maybe not tweaking well to the bias or over tweaking to the bias, versus also ChatGPT as well at the beginning on how it's responding to some requests. And the third one is copyright and misinformation. I think this is why you're hearing a lot in the news about like regulation around AI and all. It's because really there's this, there's a possibility of how AI could impact election, right? And other types of processes by just machine taking a human being. So one way to be very crisp around is when the content is created by AI, watermark the content, basically say this is a generated content by AI. And so everybody can know when it's a human versus when it's a machine. And it's becoming more the EU and even the US recommendation at this moment. So that's in general how we could all like work together on a better future while also leveraging the best of the opportunity from that technology.
Thank you, Farah. And I think another person whose opinion I'd love to get on this is Ryaan, who's building twins of people. Like I'm sure you've given ethics a bit of thought, at least. Would love to get your a bit more details around how you thought about that and how you're planning on rolling out your product.
Sure, of course. So when we first started, ethics was the biggest question, because like we're taking your identity and digitizing it. So your NIL, your name, your image, and your likeness. First off, like when we're doing a product so basically any product, the success of it is tied to the public's adoption, if the public accept it or not. A lot of people we met along the way, they were talking about, the ethics around this. Is this ethical and is it not? I mean, first, as in Hollo, all our backend is decentralized. We don't use any of your data, and we don't see your data. It's all encrypted. But in general, when building a product and when you think of ethics, the US government till now, they barely have anything around that. So the topic of ethics around AI comes down to one's personal conviction at the moment. And there are stuff that the public is gonna like, and there are stuff that the public isn't gonna like. So when you're trying to, in my opinion, when you're trying to see your product, if it's a fit or not, the public will tell you, and then you'd see how to align the way you're running your business, or the way you're conducting, the data collection or whatever it is. But in terms of the people who are saying AI is unethical or whatever, it's going to replace jobs, and for sure it's going to replace jobs. And when the calculator was created, people were afraid it's going to replace a lot of things, but people learn to use the calculator. So for people who are afraid AI is going to take over or whatever, take over jobs or take over stuff. Like, and the ethical side is gonna happen whether you complain or not. So learn how to adopt it and learn how to work with it. You don't have to learn how to make it, but if you learn how to work with it, then the ethics side shouldn't really matter, because already the big companies are trying to do their part. For example, 11 Labs, they're like the leaders in voice cloning. They started adopting policies, and DID, they block famous faces, and so learn to adopt it, and you know, the ethical side, I mean, you should be conscious, but it doesn't mean it should make you stop going for it, because it's gonna happen.
Yep. I think, I mean, it's really interesting that you say this, because you sort of answer the question I had prepared for you next, around how we can leverage AI to innovate and create new business opportunities. So thank you, I guess. Maybe I want to ask the same question to our other entrepreneur here, Alexandra. So yeah, how would you use AI to create new businesses? And maybe to both of you, Ryaan, will come back to you to maybe think of the key challenges you faced so far and how you're overcoming them.
Yeah, totally. I think first and foremost, find a gap in the market. When I first started Mind EiC 4 years ago, it was extremely hard to find a therapist with availability, but even harder to find a therapist that could speak to me in Arabic or in French and would get my unique identity. So I saw a big gap in the cultural competence space and saw a potential to be able to use AI to really streamline and automate a lot of these processes and be able to deliver the solution at scale. So be really passionate about this gap that you found. And nowadays, there is really no excuse with ChatGPT. You can write up cold emails, send it to investors, get your pre-seed running, and get your company going.
Thank you, Alexandra. Ryaan, maybe what are some of the, what are the top 2 challenges you faced, and how did you overcome them as an entrepreneur?
Look, I want to answer the AI and entrepreneurship, not from my personal, challenges I had, because it's actually one of my favorite topics. These days, if you want to, you want to be an entrepreneur of any sort, there are so many tools out there you can use where you don't even have to be building deep tech. You don't have to be building AI. Let me give you an example. There's a company called Vapi. They have the full stack of AI calling. You can customize Vapi to hit any domain you want: real estate, insurance. Every single domain, at least in America, has cold calling. Just plugging Vapi and finding a product market fit in any market you may be specialized in could be a business of its own. You don't have to be building, you don't have to be building, although I do respect the people who build innovative, deep tech like Alaa, obviously, and I don't discredit that. But I'm saying these days you don't have to be this crazy AI expert to be able to enter the market. The same goes, for example, for ChatGPT. You can there's a website called promptbase.com. You can find so many hundreds of prompts that could apply to many different domains in life. And if you market yourself in a proper way and stuff, you will get the clients. You will get the clients in it. So these days, if you want to take the step of entrepreneurship into AI, don't think, man, I'm not a coder. I'm not, because it doesn't matter. Now everything is so available. Do enough research. Watch some YouTube. You can even learn how to do twins off YouTube, obviously at certain levels, but you can learn anything. So don't think you have to be technical. Know the tools out there. So many great tools. If you adopt how to learn a tool and apply it to your domain, and it could be any domain, man. You can apply it to anything. Now, whether that be like it could be like a chatbot on a website. It could be a concierge, or so many. You can do there's a YouTube video in 20 minutes how to set up a WhatsApp chatbot for your business. On it's called HEI chat. Like, there's so much you can do where you can be an entrepreneur in AI just by learning how to implement the right tools in your specialized domain. Like, so you customize it a bit.
Yeah, I mean, self-learning is definitely key in this journey, and I think it's a point Farah raised a few minutes ago. So totally agreed. Alaa, I want to go back to you and maybe touching upon the work you've done with with the Slack channel with Hadi, who you mentioned earlier. One question I personally have is around how AI has a global impact but needs to be locally relevant. Again, maybe we're still too early or too West focused, too US focused, given that this is where most of the models are being, the LLMs are being developed. But I mean, my question to you is around, like, how do you think global development of AI compared to its application and relevance in local contexts, such as, I mean, for us, the audience here, places such as Lebanon and maybe the broader Middle East region?
Yeah, great question. So I would say like AI has been developing quite fast, and its application is like international, but definitely lags a bit behind Lebanon and the MENA region. And this could be traced back like to a bunch of factors. First of all, while there are like really great researchers or engineers in the MENA region and Lebanon, most of like the researchers are also based here in the US. So there's sheer difference of number. And that being said, like there are currently a lot of efforts to try to bring back some of the talent to Lebanon, to the MENA region. So for example, Saudi Arabia, they have KAUST. They have a really great program for AI and really top AI researchers. Emirates, they had like built recently the Mohammed bin Zayed University of AI. Qatar has been funding a lot of the research initiatives about AI in the region. And there's so much more effort to bring back the talent. And so hopefully we're going to be seeing some of like AI tools going out soon from our region. The second challenge is like not attracting any talent, but rather attracting relevant talent, native Arabic speakers. So if you interact with ChatGPT, it's great in English. If you try to interact with it in Arabic, it's still impressive, but like still lags a lot behind. And that can be traced back to a lot of factors. First of all, the Arabic language is so much harder than English, so it should be processed differently. Second, there's some mismatch between the Fusha, the modern standard Arabic, and the dialectal Arabic, which we speak, and so many other factors. So in order for us to develop a model capable of interacting with us in Arabic or be deployed in the Arab region, at least in the Arabic part, like Arabic-speaking businesses, you would have to get some native speakers who are able to look into the data, know how it should be processed correctly, and then later on deployed.
I think you raised two very important points. Thank you very much, Alaa. Alaa, I just want to stay with you actually before we start wrapping up. Actually, wow, it's we still have 15 minutes. Based on your experience so far, what are your predictions on the future of AI? I know you touched upon some applications when we first started this conversation, but if we were to look a bit farther, 5-10 years down the line, where do you see us heading?
Yeah, so AI already is a big part of our lives. For example, in the US, there's a lot of self-driving cars. Everyone has like some personal assistant, like if you think about Siri under the hood or Google Assistant. So there's a lot of presence, but I think it's going to be even bigger in the future, but maybe in different spaces, such as the workspace, as a bunch of other panelists have pointed out too. So for example, in work, there's a lot of simple tasks that you don't need to be focusing on, like mundane tasks that could be automated easily. Think, for example, of a data analyst. Rather than spending their time on extracting information from a document, they can now automate this with AI and spend more of their time actually like analyzing the data and building on some trends. So that's one area. Another thing is like large companies are benefiting from AI, but also like the medium and small businesses or business owners could be benefiting from that. So I've seen like a bunch of startups offering some services where like they tell you very accessible and very cheap sensors to install them in your store. And you can track some data, for example, the number of people coming into your store or like the time they're spending in particular areas. And then under the hood, they're passing that data into some smart AI, very cheap also and accessible, to give personalized feedback or insights on how you can improve the efficiency of your business in order to drive up revenue. So small and medium businesses could go into that part of benefits from AI. And lastly, I feel like education will be also affected tremendously. Like back in my days, if you wanted to do some research, we would go look into some books or the internet and spend a lot of time to find some topic. Now with a very simple prompt, you can get like information very fast. Granted, like we still need some mechanisms to make sure that the information retrieved is actually accurate or correct. But I would say like this is not too hard to implement. So AI will be definitely impacting education as well.
You know, Karim, if you don't mind, I want to add just one point on what Alaa said.
Sure.
You know, just an example, you know, a train of thought, my son. OpenAI started GPT in 2018, June of 2018. It wasn't until they put the chat interface on top of it in 2022 where people started using OpenAI. But that GPT-1, GPT-2, you know, but unless you put something where the general public, the rest, the 90% of the world is able to interact with it, then you know, you could have a great product, but you have to make it like, you know, 4 years after they created GPT is when the markets loved it, you know. Just put a chat on it.
No, that's a great thought. I mean, thank you both. Thank you, Alaa, and thank you, Ryaan, for chiming in. I want to ask Alexandra about her views specifically about the future of AI in healthcare. Alexandra, given that, I mean, first as an investor and now as an operator, where do you see your industry going with AI?
Huge potential in diagnostic and drug discovery. One of my favorite anecdotes, and I think this happened over, 12 years ago. I don't know if you guys heard about the CEO of Target and the 16-year-old. But basically, a father received in the mail from Target a flyer that was promoting baby formula and what to do when you're pregnant. So the father wrote a letter to the CEO of Target, and he said, "My daughter is 16 years old. You can't be sending things like this to a 16-year-old girl." And the CEO, you know, really apologized. He didn't understand what was happening and checked in with his team. So the ML system in Target was able to pick up on the shopping pattern of that 16-year-old girl by noticing that she wasn't buying a fragrance product, that she had a specific shopping pattern that was aligned with other women that were about to give birth. A couple of weeks after, the father sends a letter again to the CEO, and this time apologizes, saying, "My daughter is in fact pregnant." So the ML of Target was able to notice this just from her shopping patterns 10 years ago. Just gives you a bit of perspective on where things can go when we're, you know, texting through BBM and then advancing to iPhones and now to more interoperable solutions.
That's a great story, great example. Thank you, Alexandra. To wrap up, just to be mindful of time and to leave some a bit of time for Q&A, I want to wrap up the discussion with Farah and Ryaan, and maybe learn about some of the common misconception about AI that you've encountered, and how do you address these to better inform the public and professionals like us. Farah, maybe we can start with you.
I think the misconception is that AI is going to replace a human. Is the main one here on plate. Actually, the more I work with AI, the more I appreciate the human nature. And it's how complicated it is for all of us to just create some sort of a capable brain, right? And many of the measuring today of generative AI, etc., it's saying that it's not even close to like a 5 years old who can show them how to set a table and how to do laundry and all of that, and we're still not there. So it makes you appreciate the complexity of the brain, but most importantly of our EQ. And if there's anything I work with my daughter Grace about, is the EQ side of us. That's going to be very hard to replicate with machines, and maybe where we need to spend more time on. So that's it.
That's a great call out. Thanks, Farah. Ryaan, do you want to take us home? Like, what do you think are the biggest misconceptions with AI?
I mean, Farah hit like 99% if you want, but the 1% is that, you know, it's not hard to learn, it's not hard to apply. You know, there's a lot of stuff out there that are easy to implement in whether it's your current business or if you want to open a future business.
Yeah, and like on this point, I'm just looking at the chat so far. A lot of resources have been shared. So thanks for the engagement there. And with that, I just want to take a moment to thank our 4 panelists. Thank you very much, Farah, Alexandra, Alaa, Ryaan, for taking the time for this. Before we end the session, I want to open up the floor for our participants and see if anyone has any questions. So please, Oh, wow. Okay, Michelle is ready. Michelle, please feel free to unmute yourself. Thanks for raising your hand. And tell whoever you're asking the question that you're addressing them, and feel free to ask your question.
Yes, okay. First of all, thank you to all the panelists for coming here today. Thank you, Karim, for being the moderator, and Ms. Janine. Also, of course, thank you to LebNet for organizing this event. I'm Michelle. I'm a third-year student at UC Berkeley. I study applied math. And my question is for Alaa. And maybe this question might not be relatable to everyone, so maybe it's a bit selfish, but I just wanted to tell you that over my university years, I've kind of been prioritizing industry internships versus research internships. And let's say that given that everything else checks out, I have fairly good grades and good recommendation letters. If I want to pursue a PhD later, would you recommend me applying for a master's degree with a thesis and then doing research there? Or, I don't know, what would you do in my place?
Yeah. So first of all, great. This work is amazing. I would say like maybe try to focus a bit on research, and the thesis would be like a way to go that route. And if you want like to ask more advice, like feel free to reach me on Slack. We can definitely schedule a call and like go through more details.
Okay, cool. Thank you.
Of course.
Can I, sorry, I know your question was for Alaa, but I want to share something. Yesterday I read from Stanford, the latest a trend on AI. It's showing how much investment in research is now more in industry than in academia. It's a completely shift from where I personally, when I started my, my career, where research was mostly focused in academia. So it's less exclusive these days.
Okay, thank you.
But I suppose you read the HAI index report, right?
شو عرفك؟
تخرجنا من هونيك.
I love Feifei. Feifei is like an icon in AI. So if you don't follow her, please do.
Yeah.
Or follow Karim so that you can follow Stanford.
Amazing. Thanks, Michelle. Anyone else? Maybe we can take a couple more questions. Please raise your hand, and just like Michelle did, you can ask your question. ما تستحوا.
Before you close though, Karim, I want to thank you, and I want to thank Janine for your contributions to LebNet. And I mean, whoever doesn't know LebNet, Janine is the director basically running the show, along with Maria as well.
With that, thank you so much, Ryaan. Thank you, Farah. Thank you, Alexandra. Thank you very, very much, Alaa. Thank you, Janine, for also running all the logistics behind the scene. Thank you, Stephanie, who gave an intro about the EIC committee. This was a delight for me personally. I learned a lot. I hope our participants also learned something. Hopefully we can reconvene in a year and see how the state of AI has changed, because I'm sure that in less than a year, things will change quite a lot. With that, I wish everyone a great day, a great rest of the week, and all the best. Thanks again for everyone for taking an hour out of their day for this conversation.
Thank you,
Karim.
I think someone a question or okay, they're dropping off. Thank you, everyone.